Hey everyone, hopefully you can hear me. So I've had to kind of reset up my own stuff, so let me know if everything's coming through and if you can hear me. We'll wait for things to show up here. So hopefully it's working. But anyway, let me know. I'm guessing someone's going to type in chat pretty soon if they can't hear me. I'm getting hello. Anyone? Give me some feedback. Okay. All right. I just need some feedback to know if I was able to hear. I had to spin up some of this stuff, and I may just have to break down and buy some better software. But sounds like in a cave. All right. Well, that is the wonderful thing about audio options. There's nothing likes to play right when you plug and unplug things. So give me just a minute here and we will get this sorted out, hopefully. And all right, is this any better? Let me know if there's anything. Yeah, I need to test this to find out if this is going to work, and if I need to spend some money while there's still some Black Friday deals. Major delay, huh? All right, well, volume really low. See, I had to have it adjusted for Clack Stream and keeps having me turn everything down. Fire the tech guy. Well, I can't fire myself. Is this getting any better? Mo better? Mo better from the Clack Shack? All right. All right, hopefully I got the right sources. I'm not sure what to do about the delay, but we'll try to get through this and go with it. But anyway, yeah, I wanted to just hop on here today because you know, it's that time of year when everybody's sending things out and they want us to kind of play with them and get word out there and whatnot. But normally I try to stick with things that are, you know, relational to things I do on my channel, things I play with. But I got offered an item, and this is one where my wife and my son were actually really excited about it. So I said, okay, sure. And it is still along the lines of what we're looking at. So I thought I would come on here, share it with you. Maybe we'll get to test it, but we will see. Now, it is from a company that we've dealt with in the past. So I'm just going to slowly give you some hints to see if you can figure it out. And something that could be useful for a lot of small makers, small businesses and such that are getting into the customization of stuff. So anyway, enough of that. I will go ahead and see if we can flip over to you here. And what we have is the xTool screen printer, which seems really out of left field. But apparently they had an individual in their company who said, hey, we should get into screen printing. And they did some research on how they could make it out. And so they came up with this. And this is kind of the base. This is a magnetic plate that you can put your materials on. And then they have these pins here that line up with your slots on the bottom. And then you have the knobs up front that allow you to adjust this. And of course, you gotta work to get this sorted out in back into those slots, but then you can adjust that side to side. And then they have this kind of unique thing where they have this frame that holds the screens in place. And then this will key into here. As long as I can get it, gotta set it in right side up. This will keep in here. You can clamp it in place then, and then you push it down. You can lock it in place, put your ink on, spread it across your material, and then release it back up. Now they do also have, you can get multiple frames for this, and then you can get an alignment jig for at least the D1 that will allow you to do multicolor. So now this is just the basic kit. It's just has basically the setup for one. I've got one frame, and they sent like three screens. So that's what I've got to play with. So I'll be able to do some single color. The screens themselves are actually made out of a steel mesh that then you can laser engrave with really any laser they're saying. But they have an alignment jig that works well with the D1. It's supposed to fit into the S1 as well as the P2 as long as you have the riser base as well. But you can use any diode, open frame diode that you can place that in under, and then you could create your own jig for alignment. Or if you're just doing single color, you'll be able to work that way. The screens then you can pop into additional frames, or you can pop them in and out. You just lose your alignment at that point. And then you are supposed to be able to strip them and add the emulsifier as well again. I believe that the screens are going to be $25 for 4 of them, if I read that right. So I haven't really priced that out with other screen printers. I've used my son's used one at the local makerspace. We've got some at the community college I work at. And then the frames I think are going to be $60 a piece. They do have one that comes with a kit as like 4 frames and 12 screens as well if you want to get started that way. But anyway, it's something that's kind of cool. Hoping to give it a shot here the next little while. Depending on the size of the engraving on the screen, obviously that can take a little while to get done. But that'll be kind of interesting to see. You're supposed to be able to do this onto, obviously like fabrics and flat fabrics, so like bags or shirts or sweatshirts. But you can also do it on cardstock, cardboard, anything that will take that ink. And then it's, I think, just like a 24 to 48 hour dry time before you wear it or whatnot. So anyway, yeah, that showed up yesterday, unboxed it, just taking a look at it, and going to be figuring that out, and kind of curious to see how that works for a while. So anyway, so I've got that. And then another thing that I had picked up recently is actually this. It's the Shaper Trace. And so let me actually go to this one's a little bit bigger. It's a Shaper Trace. And what this does is, if you're familiar with the Shaper Origin, and it's like a handheld CNC router, they use this tape with these dots on it to figure out where it's at in its space, and then it allows you to kind of move it around, and it follows the lines that you have programmed in. Well, this is a tool that is supposed to allow you to make vector graphics from anything within the frame. And they have trace tools that you can do with photos and other things, and they have mixed results as to how well they work. So when I saw this come up on Kickstarter earlier this year, I thought, well, I'm going to give this a shot. So the frame's not terribly big. It's about the size of a sheet of paper. But you put anything inside of here. You don't want a piece of paper, or for me, what I'm looking at is using model airplane plans and being able to scan parts in. So you run their smart app on your smartphone, and you take the picture of it. It uses these dot patterns to kind of figure out where it's at, and it will then be able to transfer that image into a vector. So I haven't even played with this yet. I've got it in recently, and I want to start playing with that. But this might be a kind of thing that could be handy for, if like you're at a craft show and you want to be able to allow people to make, custom items that they've created. You could have like your stack of paper and say, okay, draw within this area what you want engraved. We'll take a picture of it quick. We'll run it over to the laser and put it on whatever item you want. So I'm going to be trying this out. I'll definitely be giving some feedback. I paid for this straight up. I just saw the Kickstarter, thought it would be cool. So I'll definitely be giving some feedback there in the future. So anyway, hopefully my audio is doing okay now. I did switch off from that other camera. Yeah, a lot going on here in the workshop. Obviously, this past weekend with Thanksgiving here, I was able to get through a number of things and hoping to continue that here through December and get some more projects out, get some more things out. Obviously, I've got the P2 behind me that I've been putting a few project videos out on and want to be able to do more with that. But anyway, how's everybody doing? Is the sound doing okay? What's going on for everybody else? And if you have any questions about the stuff, you have any questions about the screen printer or whatnot, go ahead and throw them out there for me, and I'll try to answer them, or maybe it's something I can address in any of the videos I put out on it. Like I said, I definitely want to play around with maybe some t-shirts. You can make some custom cards with it, with some paper and such. So we'll just have to see how that goes. Perfect now. Well, that's great. It is, yeah, it could be the cold weather. I think when I got up this morning, and I'm glad I didn't have to go into work right away, the temperature was something like 6 or 7 degrees Fahrenheit and -2 with the wind chill. So, you know, our water-based internet up here might be getting a little cold. So I don't have that fancy fiber connection that Clack Shack has down there. But anyway, yeah, I only have 3 of these screens yet. I asked them if I could somehow get more. You know, they've got it on Kickstarter, and I believe I have the link down below in my channel or in the description for that if you want to check out the xTool screen printer. They've got a package that comes with just 3 in the 1 frame, or then it's 4 frames and 12 screens. And I'm kind of like, well, can I have like 2 screens and or 2 frames and, you know, maybe a little bit more with this? So hopefully I can. I mean, and I'm willing to pay for them. I want to have more to play with and be able to really kind of learn this thing and see how it can do. But hopefully in the next couple days, I'll be able to at least get something on, you know, maybe a white T-shirt or a bag, or at least some cards, and we'll see how this thing does. But yeah, my son's excited about it. He's taking PSEO classes in graphic communications at the community college I work at. So it's kind of cool that he does some of these things there. And actually, those instructors have been asking me about lasers and other things that they can bring into their curriculum and such. They work with your traditional print, your digital print. They've been doing screen printing and other things, but they're looking at, you know, a lot of things we're doing with applying those commercial graphics and such to other mediums. So it's kind of a neat thing when my worlds collide like that. So anyway, hope yeah, 20s in North Carolina. That is well, that's probably cold for you guys. So Michael, you've got one coming soon too. That's yeah, it arrived. Comes in a bigger box, padded with some of the material. They sent me 4 colors. Well, 3 colors in black. I don't know if you consider black color. So I've got blue, yellow, red. Although this is a very magenta style red, and black. The bigger kit comes, I think, with 8, including some glow in the dark, as well as like a glitter type thing. But as far as I understand, these are just your typical screen printing ink, and you know, UV or just time dried on it and such. So I should be able to get more of that, maybe even locally. But this is their branded stuff. Just says xTool selected screen printing ink, and we'll see. How do I get all the cool toys, Clack? I don't know. I really don't know. You tell me. So, but yeah, I hadn't seen the steel screens. Let's pull this one off. So they're actually held in by these metal rods or these brackets, and then these kind of cam levers pull everything tight. So these just have a channel there, and then these kind of oblong shaped go in, they snap down, and then you want to get it all the way flat, otherwise you won't be able to engrave it well, but that tightens it up. And then these top notches go into the frame, but there's also, like I said, for the D1 xTool laser, they have an alignment jig that goes along with the two legs, and then they key into these little notches, which obviously you could make yourself. But then if you have multiple colors, you would run your laser with these frames keyed to that and then keyed to there, and then as long as you don't take this screen out, you'd be able to replicate that with multiple colors multiple times. So be interesting to see. I know it's not going to be as fast as your typical 4 or 6 setup screen printing jig that would take up as much space as like my table saw and such, but it takes up less space than the D1. It's probably about 2/3 the width and about the same depth, and I think they even provide a cardboard storage box for it, which it's easily something you could slide onto a shelf. You want to keep the dust off it and everything, but something like for us in a small shop that's going to occasionally do some things, and not necessarily do a run of 200 t-shirts per se of multicolor. Single color might not be too bad, but multicolor I think is where it would slow you a lot down from your typical ones. But the idea that you can just create the screens through the laser is pretty cool. So Alan, it's getting cold and its high was only 78 in Phoenix. Well, yeah. I haven't talked to my dad in a few days. He's just north of Phoenix, but I'm sure it's getting chilly for you all down there. We gotta put that extra layer on besides the t-shirt. So anyway, so yeah, I do have some other projects in mind. Unfortunately, Amazon's being Amazon. My local stores don't necessarily have the things I'm looking for, so I trying to purchase on Amazon, and some of the things said they'd be here Monday, and then they said it might be there Tuesday, and now it finally shipped today, and so I might have it by the weekend. But yeah, I am still working. I know a few people have asked. I did receive the We Create laser, and I'm working with it. Just having a little bit of a camera calibration issue with that, so I'm working with their support on that. They've been responsive on it, and so hopefully we'll get that fixed. They did recently update their software that includes a calibration tool. It's pretty much automatic, so there's not a lot you can adjust on it. So I'm not sure what it's going to. I don't know. It just fails midpoint, and so I can't really tell why it's failing. And so they're having me go through a few things as far as making sure everything's in alignment. And then I sent them some information, and I think they said they have a firmware update for me. So we'll check that out, because that does, if you've watched Clack's channel, he's been playing around with that as well as a few others, and it's definitely an interesting laser for I think the type of people who want something that is kind of all enclosed, has a smaller working area than your typical ones, but they can kind of just leave it where it's at, use it when they need it, and it's got some decent safety features on it. But I want to make sure it's working right before I release any information on the one I've got. So hopefully we'll get to play with that pretty soon too. But yeah, Gordon, a second story to the shop. Well, that would unfortunately require me to probably tear this one down and double up the footings and everything else. So might be cheaper to move at that point. So yeah, it's it also makes you kind of be mindful of which ones you're going to hang on to and keep around. And I've helped other people out. I've loaned out a few lasers. I've talked to, like I said, I talked to people at the college who are kind of interested in them, although in that I've been kind of guiding them towards maybe a little more commercial type setups. But yeah, I know David's worked with a few people there to get machines out to other people as well, And so it's nice to be able to spread that around to some organizations that could use it. I know the local makerspace has a Glowforge and another laser. I heard from a friend who's a member there, they were having troubles with them the other day, so maybe I'll have to pay him a visit and see what's up and if I can help. But yeah, Gretsch Zeppelin, you can buy the frames and the screens separate. I'm not 100% sure if this is the retail pricing, but on their Kickstarter, the 4-pack of screens is going to be like $25, and then the frames I think are $59, $60. Right now, the best way to do it, actually, right now, if you don't even have a laser, they have a package with the 5-watt D1 Pro, which is only $130 more than their multicolor kit, which I think is, if you snagged it really early, it was like $370. I think right now it's $440 or something like that. But then they have like the add-ons down below, which I think are hopefully are just the retail price. But you'll be able to buy individual screens and individual frames, and then packs of extra screens to add to it. So, like I say, I haven't really compared that to your typical screen printing setup to do to see how it is, but those don't also necessarily allow you to, set up the file and engrave it on your laser. So depending on what you've got to actually create those other screens, this might be more advantageous for a small setup. But yeah. Hey Robert, good to see you. Thanks for stopping by, checking things out. So, and Cockatoo Birdman, another Arizona, 41 in Golden Valley, Arizona. Wow, you must be more in the mountains of Arizona or something. That seems kind of chilly for them right now, but it seems like there's a bit of a cold streak going across the U.S. anyway, so we'll hopefully snap out of it. It was really cold here today. We had some snow this weekend, but they are saying I think we might even get back up to 50 tomorrow, so I might take advantage of that, do one last cleaning on my gutters and tuck my ladder away for winter, and kind of shore things up in here in the shop and get some things done. But yeah, so yeah, since I'm having trouble with audio and camera, I don't necessarily know if I want to switch over to that again, but I was going to say we could try to set up the file and burn at least my logo into this one and give that a shot. You do end up, so this is how you print it with the screen down, but you actually flip it this way to engrave it. And so then you have to do everything backwards. And then you have to keep in mind that these are going to key into the pegs and the cams on the front. So if you're wanting to do a t-shirt, you kind of have to orient it in the right direction so that it comes out correctly. But what I figured is I'd use one of these for maybe I could do about 4 smaller logos and then just place those accordingly for the items I was going to do. But yeah, we can maybe drop this in there and see. Who knows? I might get it right. I might screw it up. So yeah, exposing the screen. That's the thing with this one is it's attractive to that it's easier to develop the screen, but these are basically from what I understand they're a steel-based screen, and that's why you can engrave them with the laser. So they're a little bit different, a little bit more expensive, I think. But again, for the small shop, not needing too much. Hopefully, it's reasonable for people or people who just want to play around and have fun. And that's kind of primarily why I said sure I do this. Is that my wife and my son were like, hey, that'd be fun to be able to do this at home as well. So 28 in South Carolina. Wow. That's got to be chilly. I was years ago down in Columbia, South Carolina, for basic training, but that was in February, and I was coming from Minnesota, where it was cold. I think it got cold down there, and everybody was shivering and wanting to put on long, the long underwear and everything. And I was just kind of like, hey, this is like low 30s. This is warm. But that's all relative to what we're used to. So, but yeah, they do have kind of that tight drum sound. They do need to be tight for everything to work properly. They'll kind of work if they're loose, but you're definitely not going to get the crisp, nice engraving, and then it's going to transfer into your printing on whatever material. So, but anyhow, yeah. So let me see if I can set this in the laser. Like I said, I'm not sure I want to muck with my video too much and get double audio, but we can give that a shot. I will probably use Creative Space to set this up. I don't know. I was playing with it earlier. Maybe I even have it already set up, but we shall see. All right. Let me, yeah. All right, let's see if we can flip over to, we got Creative Space here. And like I say, we're on the D1 Pro. So the notches that are going to go towards the back side of the screen, the part that's furthest away from you, that they say to put on the left side. And then if you've got text on it, since we're technically engraving on the bottom side that's going to go towards the fabric, we need to invert it. So that's why I have this set up this way, is that the logo is backwards, and I have it the bottom facing towards the left side. So when that flips over and we slide it into the screen printing press area, the bottom of the graphic will be towards the back, but then if you're sliding a t-shirt over it, then the bottom of the t-shirt's going to be towards the back and it'll be lined up. So that's kind of why I have that set up this way. And they have, let's see here, if I select this stuff, they sent out some settings for it, and so I think we need to definitely adjust that. I believe let me see if I can find that really quick. All right. They did send out some settings for the various D1 lasers. And those are, there we go. Nope, not going to open it for me. Just having all sorts of trouble today. So for our 20 watt, we'd be running at 70% power, 178 millimeters a second, and 160 lines per centimeter. So let's see if we can get those in there. So that was 70% power. I guess we can just come over here and enter that. And 178 millimeters a second, one pass, and then 160 lines per centimeter. I've been trying to force myself to use Creative Space a little bit more because there's a lot of people getting new lasers and they're just using it now, so they ask a lot of questions. So I've been trying to remind myself, and the software has gotten a lot better too. They have been putting some effort into it. They've been listening to the people that have been using it, and actually I believe they're supposed to launch another one yet this week, new version of it. So I'll be curious to see what's in there. But so that should be, we've got it on the engrave setting. We've got our power, speed, and lines per centimeter. Yeah, Clack, speed test. Well, if this doesn't work, I may end up having to do one, but I'm going to trust their numbers first, and then we'll see. You know, this is very specific. It's their laser, their material, and everything. So I'm hoping it's going to be in the ballpark. But anyway, so at this point, we just have to frame it onto where we're going to put it on the laser, and then, well, we got to focus it and frame it. I'm going to see if, let's see if we can jump over this other camera. And if the audio messes up again, I apologize. We'll jump back to this one and hopefully clean it up. But we will jump over to this other one. I will move this camera a little bit closer. Hopefully see what I'm doing. So obviously just working in current position with this. I'm going to drop our focus foot down. You got to be careful of this because it will push beyond. It'll push that screen down if you don't hold on to it. But we'll do that, and then I'm going to try to do it kind of up in this quadrant So that way maybe I can get, you know, if I screw this up, I still have like 4 other spots to work with. So we'll see. So let's go ahead and frame that. All right, back and forth. So that looks good. For the most part, we should be able to just send this. Yeah, I'm not, okay, hold on. Most of the other ones should be muted, so I'm not. Let me see here. See if this does any better. All right, so we've got it framed in the corner. We've got our power set up. And I am going to hit process. It is telling me an estimated time of 13 minutes. So we'll close up the laser. Hit our start button. I'll see if I can move this over. Whoop. Got some real high-tech camera work going on. And it looks like it is blasting through there. It's hard to see through that glass. Much better. I'm glad I was able to get the audio fixed. So sounds cool, like a 50s sci-fi movie. All right, so anyway, we'll let that run. As a matter of fact, let me see. I might be able to drag that view into the corner here so we can kind of monitor it while we chat. But yeah, so it's really interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that turns out. Let's see if we can drag this. Your beta testing version 1.75. Oh, so you're testing the new version, Clack, of the Creative Space? That is cool. The added multiple shapes of point mapping. So, okay, so that's all. Is that primarily relational to the S1 with the mapping of circles and such? Anyway, why is this not showing up for me? Yeah. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to play with this, but you can see it's still working, and you can kind of tell. It's really hard to see through that laser glass because I guess it's doing its job, but you can kind of see it is marking there. So we'll continue to let that run. And I'm not running any air exhaust on it right now. So hopefully I'm not asphyxiating myself. Matter of fact, maybe I want to turn that on. So, well, I hope everybody survived Thanksgiving and Black Friday, and they're, hopefully they got the Christmas shopping done you needed to do, and maybe didn't burn your wallet up too much. I know my wife's been busy buying our kids some things, so I'll be working for another year. Yeah, Brian, I'm doing a live stream. I thought I'd give it a shot here. That xTool sent me out the screen printing deal that they're just releasing on Kickstarter. I think it's got about 8 days left. So, matter of fact, let me see if I can find that really quick. There we go. Yeah, they're doing it actually through Kickstarter. So I can bring that up. And it is through, yeah, you got 8 days left to go. And they have the basic kit. This is what I was sent. You get 1 easy stretch frame and 3 coated screens. And then they include like I got 4 colors of paint. I don't know if that comes with any more. They don't really clarify too much. I think if we scroll down here a little bit, they might show more. But they apparently have them in manufacturing, so they should be able to actually release them fairly quick. I believe they're actually saying they're going to ship in December yet. So if you're interested, it's out there. I don't get anything for you backing this project on Kickstarter. I'm just kind of sharing what they sent out to me, and if someone's been looking at it, I'll hopefully have some information out on it in the next day or two. But they do give you this anti-slip mat, so if you're putting like smaller objects, cards or whatnot on there, or even a t-shirt, it'll help hold it in place. So yeah, here we go. Yeah, the basic kit. I believe all the early bird ones, well, maybe they do still have some of the early birds of those. So you can get this kit for $200 right now. It looks like the normal price is going to be $400. But they also have the multicolor kit. That includes the extra frames, a lot more colors. You get 12 screens. The early birds are all sold out, but for $429 you can get that deal through Kickstarter. But here's the funny thing is that you can get the laser combo. So for $599 you get a 5-watt Pro. You get the screen printing and all the stuff. So I mean, if you're going to buy this and you want a spare laser frame and you're in the xTool environment, well, spend an extra $160 and you can have a spare laser. But yeah, so far it does look nice. I mean, xTool does a good job on their manufacturing, and it doesn't look like it's been just pieced together in a garage and such. So they put a little fit and finish on it. I mean, of course, we got to see how it actually works. But I like to liken them to the Apple of laser engravers. It's not for everybody, but it usually looks pretty. But I have to say I've not had any like big issues with xTool on any of their gear they've sent me. There are obviously a lot of things they can improve about it. There's things I don't necessarily like about their machine over others. As far as like the D1 series that I've been using for a while anyway, I'm still kind of feeling things out on the P2 and such. But they do work. So and they do look nice. Support with all these companies are kind of hit or miss, and sometimes depending on the time the time of day you send it, the information you send them. Sometimes you just get the person on a Friday that wants to go home, and you don't get the response you want. But they're big. They've got a lot of people out there, so you're going to hear about more problems. It's when they're a smaller company you hear about a lot of problems, then you got to really wonder about that ratio. So. Anyway, yeah, Foil Duck. I asked them about the frames and the print sheets, and when they're going to be available, kind of retail, and if this, because they list them down here as add-ons, optional add-ons, and so I'm hoping this isn't like Kickstarter price and this is retail, because if it's more than that, I feel that's going to be a little steep. But I think these are retail prices, so hopefully these will be readily available as they launch them, and then of course they have their ink sets and such. So, but what I'd really like is they have this fixing rail, and like I say, I could make my own. It's basically just a jig. If you're familiar with Clack Shack's jigs, they're very similar to that. It's got keys on the side, plugs into the legs, and then it helps align it. I'm trying to see if they have a photo of it here anywhere. Yeah, that's kind of, well, it flashed through on that video, but that would be nice to have. I didn't get that with mine because mine's just the single color one. But so Yeah, and the clack. Okay, first off, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed to the Clack Shack, he and I are good friends. We do our live streams on Sunday nights. We collaborate on all sorts of things. You know, go to his channel, click on subscribe. We're trying to get him to 20K at least by the end of the year, but maybe by Christmas for him. So definitely do that. But he wants you to answer the poll, the quiz on our community page, which is also linked down below on Facebook. If I get all the cool toys or not. So definitely go check that out as well. We have a good group of people there that share ideas, and sometimes they've got more experience in certain things than both David and I, but kind of came out of our live streams and just using it to allow people to share pictures, ask questions. We try to keep the spam bots out. We're happy to let people promote certain things as long as you're giving more than you're taking out of the group. You're giving more than you're taking from the group. So definitely check that out as well. And also, I've got links down there. I've got my Instagram page. I've been bad about keeping up on it. Some days I tend to go in cycles where I post a lot there or not. But I'm at like 990 followers on there. So if I can get 10 more there, I'll hit that 1K, and that'd be great. But anyway, so yeah, definitely connect with us on that ways. Go hit up Clack as well. Help him get to his goals before Christmas. We'll get him there before the end of the year. But so the poll is okay. The poll's on Clack's channel, I guess. So definitely go there. Vote no because he gets cool stuff too. but go hit him up for that. So let's take a quick look, see where the laser's at. It's getting towards the edge. So, and that'd be a nice thing is a progress bar. Get a progress bar going in some of these, and an accurate one too. We've been going for 10, almost 11 minutes on there, is what it says in Creative Space. But so we should only have about 3 minutes left on that. Yeah, Gretch, that's what I'm wondering about. I mean, let's see. These jars are 100 milliliters, so 3 ounces for screen printing ink of each color. So, and those prices are, what did they have there? They had 6 inks with each one. Oh, those are 100 milliliter bottles. Okay, so those are even smaller than the ones or no, those are the same size. I was looking at the ounces. So 3.5 ounces are 100 milliliters. So I don't know. Like I say, I haven't priced out a lot of this stuff. I've always thought it would be kind of neat to do, and now I've got the chance to do it with this one. So we will see. But, so yeah, the community tab of the Clack Shack has the poll for for his whether I get all the cool stuff. I don't know. Could we? I think Clack, you should be able to link to it if you want. You can drop that link in there. Just people can go check it out and put their vote in and come back. But all right, let's see. It is. Oh, it just finished up. So let's jump over there. We will open this up, and it looks like it's went through. So, shall we move that out of the way? Maybe this would provide a better background. I don't know. So it does look like it went all the way through with that. 13 minutes, and this is about 3 3/3 inches tall, I think. So, all right, let me get things moved around here real quick. Get my Back that out a little bit. There we go. So the idea here, now that we see it on the other side, it's upright, and you can kind of see through there, and that's where it should let the ink go through. And then we would put this again into here, get it seated, and then lock these cams down to hold it in place. Now it shouldn't be able to move too much. There's a little bit of wiggle, I guess, side to side. But then we'll be able to put ink on there and spread that. It does have a little knob over on this side. Can't really show you very well without spinning the whole thing, but oh. So it has a knob over here. So if you need to, you can push that down, lock that in, and then that'll hold it down, and then you can just push it down, do your material, lift it back up, and then release it. So there's all that. And then, let's see here. This is the kind of sticky sheet thing that you can put on here. So like, kind of like the crickets where you can put material down on that mat. Well, this sticks on both sides, and then it'll hold material in place. So let's see. I have some paper here that I think that would fit on. If I can get it lined up right. Yeah, that should work. So let's give this a shot, although it'd be better if I had white ink. Well, maybe I've got some lighter paper. I guess we'll go with yellow. Typical. The inner cover's stuck. And sealed in there. See if I can get this off. Sorry, I can't quite see chat right now, so I'm not sure what is going on. There. And I'm thinking I'm going to want some paper towels really soon. We'll just scoop some of this off. So the idea is just to put enough ink in front of your, and then I got some on there. Just enough ink on there that you can brush it across there. Set that to the side. And before I get too carried away, I'm going to grab a paper towel. Or two. All right. I am a complete rookie with this machine, so we will see how this goes, but the idea is we should be able to push this down, hold it on, lock this in place, and then just squeegee this across our logo. We'll see if I used enough ink. And it's stuck. Yeah, I should have used the adhesive paper, but there it printed on this piece of card. So let me try getting this paper down. That should help hold that in place and prevent that from moving with it. It's got two sides. You got a bigger grid on this side and a smaller one. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this side down on top here. Pull that off. And let's try another. I got some green paper here. See if that's in the right spot. I think it is. We'll get a little more ink on here. Push this down and grab our squeegee. I gotta peel back up. It sticks pretty well to this. Come on, there we go. So there you go. Not too bad. It's got a little bit of an ink texture to that. And I definitely probably need to practice my technique to really figure out, you know, proper ink coverage and everything. But that is the theory behind it anyway. And then of course I should clean this up as quickly as I can so it doesn't dry on here. We will set this somewhere. I'll set it down here. But that is the idea. We can come back over here and see how many comments you guys are telling me how I'm doing this wrong. Anyway, so yeah, that's the very basic, my first run with the xTool screen printer. Like I say, that graphic was about, let me grab it. This graphic is about I think I set it up as about 3 3/4 inches tall, about 3.5 wide. And that took, on the 20 watt, took about 13 minutes to engrave. So obviously, if you do a bigger t-shirt design, you know, that's going to go up into maybe an hour or two, depending on the amount of screen you're covering and such. But still, once it's done, then actually applying the ink and getting it on your material, your shirts or your bags or whatever you're doing should be fairly quick. So yeah, Thad, I should have locked it down the second time. They have that knob to do that, but like I said, I was just kind of trying to run a few through on that these paper things. So we'll give it a shot. Yeah, so Brian, yeah, I'll have to find I'll have to see how I can do with t-shirts. You know, Clack's gonna want 100 olive drab green with white lettering. So you sure you want to trust me to put your logo on there, Clack? Or do you want my logo? David, good to see you. Thanks for coming by. Anyway, so yeah, I never thought I'd be getting a screen printer from a laser company, but I'm going to play around with this a little bit more. Definitely going to try some t-shirts. We'll see how we can do that. Maybe I'll have to make a few and then have a giveaway for some t-shirts or something from the video, because I'm sure I'm going to have some oops in there, and they can be considered unique originals. I'll make sure to get them all in extra small sizes too. So, but anyway, kind of just thought I'd hop on here, show what's new in the shop, show the screen printer a little bit. Hoping to get something out on that a little bit more, because like I say, their best deal on it right now is during their Kickstarter. And so if you're interested in this, if this is something you've been looking at, like I say, I haven't priced out other options, but the fact that we can use our lasers to set up the screens on this, that's kind of cool. Like I say, we did it 13 minutes for the burn, and then slapped it down on some cardstock real quick. So that's a pretty quick turnaround and such. So, but, hey, North Alabama, great to see you here. Yeah, a little late to the party. I don't know. I mean, I'll hang out for a little bit if people have questions or want to chat for a bit. But kind of just wanted to share this while there's still some time on the Kickstarter, in case people are interested, and or get questions on it, so I can try it out, and whether put that in the video or drop it in the group, or maybe make some short videos on it and such. But it's kind of cool. I don't know, a typical screen printing thing with multiple things takes up a lot of space. This is something that I can kind of tuck down on one of my shelves here and pull out as I need it to run some stuff with. Although, like I said, my wife and son are more excited about it. So I'm guessing it's going to find a place to live inside, and they'll just come out to the shop to burn new screens and such. But Yeah, it'll be it'll be fun. Like I say, I'll try to work with it a little bit more the next day or two, mix it into some of the things I'm playing with, and trying to get out there, and we'll share that out with everybody. So yeah, but yeah, kind of rolling up on an hour here. So if you've got any questions, let me know. Otherwise, like I mentioned, Clack's been here hanging out with us. If you haven't subscribed to him, go do that. If you haven't joined our Facebook community group, I'll definitely be dropping some things in there about this as well so people can get some information. Maybe I'll put up some Instagram stories or posts on it as well. So encourage people to follow me there and such. But appreciate everyone hanging out. Appreciate everyone supporting what I do here, what every everyone has been doing for the community between Clack and I. It's been a great year hanging out with people, testing machines, doing projects, doing instructional stuff, and so yeah, we'll continue to do that. But just wanted to say thanks for all the support as well. So what do we got here? What type of ink for T-shirts? So yeah, they say the ink they have on here. This is a fabric paper and cardboard, but it's not for nylon. It's water washable and it just cures. I think they were using a heat gun, so it's basically just kind of dries over time. They say you need to give it 48 hours of natural air drying and then it can be washed. So that's their ink, but they also say you can use oil-based ink or water-based ink with these. So I imagine you can pick your own screen printing ink to use with this. It's just their style of doing the screens. It's a steel screen that they can work with and such. So, Brian, yeah, it's a pretty laser. It is. I've been doing some. I've put out a little bit of content, kind of teasing with it as I test it, trying to make sure I get comfortable with it before I give my good, bad, or otherwise on it. But so far, I definitely been impressed with the cutting ability. I mean, I'm no stranger to CO2s. I've worked with a lot of them, um, but I honestly wasn't expecting the speeds out of this one compared to my other like 50 to 60 watt lasers. So I've been impressed with that. But I always kind of hedge my bets. Back when I was doing airplane stuff and when I've been doing laser stuff, sometimes your initial impression is not correct, whether it's bad or good. So especially when there are these, bigger projects like this. I like to give it a little time, make sure I get some good, consistent use out of it before I kind of say, hey, this is really what I think about it. So definitely will be more on that. Chuck, can you reclaim the unused inks off the scraper? I mean, to a point, yes. As long as you didn't contaminate it with other stuff, you probably could. That's always my concern. The contamination of the ink, whether you get things that were, you get maybe some dust particulate that happened to be on the screen or whatnot. It's always a little bit of risk that you might take. So that's where I'm sure if you're new to this, like I am, getting a feel for how much ink you need to put on there so it squeegees through and you don't have a lot of waste is going to be good. But yeah. What laser system did you not like the nozzle on the air assist? Okay, so that was the longer B1. It had, and I had the 20 watt. I think Clack had the 30 watt. Now I hear that they may have fixed that on their new 40 watt that's out. But it's just the exit nozzle. It's too big. I mean, I think that was at least a good 1/8 inch wide, and it doesn't need to be near that for the beam. And it wasn't being very effective. And so the quick fix was just to put some tape over it and let the laser kind of blast through it. But that's going to burn out over time. So really, you can use it's your typical 16 millimeter brass lens sleeve on there. So I think pretty much your typical xTool or other nozzle that you get, those kind of third-party ones, will work on there. And as long as it kind of tapers it down to more like a 16th or less, it makes that stream, just gives a little extra kick to it and makes it a little more effective. Uh, so North Alabama, the screens on these are actually made of steel, and so you're able to burn the emulsion away and not ruin the screen. And that's why you can use it with the laser. So I used the 20 watt D1 from xTool, but they say you can use any laser. They've just set it up to where they've got a nice jig that goes with the D1. It'll fit into, I believe, the S1 and the P2 as long as you have the riser base, from what I understand. But I don't think they have the alignment jig with that one because of the way the orientation works. So, but um, let's see what else. Yeah, thanks for the thumbs up on this, everybody. Appreciate that. That helps the whole algorithm thing and whatnot. But yeah, Clack put an xTool nozzle on his longer that worked. But I believe it was Valley Forged was talking about the 40 watt. And it sounds like maybe he got one and had said that they had fixed the nozzle. So I'm curious about it to see. So yeah, Jimmy Lee, the longer 10 watts. So as long as you have, measure the nozzle or the end cap of the module. It's usually those brass 16 millimeter outer diameter ones. Those typical sleeves that come in, the xTool or the xTool like, there's a lot of generic ones out there. Those nozzles will slide on there. So as long as you've got the screw-in adapter that fits your module, that'll take it out to the side and let you run your air hose up, then you'll be good. So yeah, it definitely makes a huge difference in that. That's a really nice laser that I think if they just would have tapered that down a little bit better, it would have been awesome out of the box. But it sounds like they have it fixed with their 40 watt, and maybe they have spare parts for that you could work with. So any progress on the IKEA Pro Max autofocus homing issues yet? I sent them last night. I sent them a lot of information. I sent them a video of exactly what was happening, and they were going to look it over. And I mean, I sent them my Lightburn configuration file, all the machine settings. I sent them a video of exactly what I'm seeing, a few different angles. So hopefully they get a clear picture of what I'm doing. And maybe it's something I'm doing wrong, but I don't feel it is because I've tried it in many different ways. And the only consistency there is as long as I don't home the machine, it autofocuses just fine. But the minute I home it, it will fail the first time, and then it'll do it just fine after that, but then it loses its orientation. So if they could fix that one thing, that's a really nice laser. I mean, it is a really nice laser. It would make it a great laser in the fact that I can then set up jigs and use absolute coordinates for it. So Brian, when I'm doing a live stream, how many tabs do you have open? Fewer than when I'm not doing a live stream. I am horrible at opening up extra tabs and having multiple browsers open. Some of that's just because, like at work, there are certain programs or at work that work great in Chrome and others that do not. They hate something about Chrome, so then I got to jump into Firefox or Edge or something else, and it's frustrating. So I actually try to limit the number of tabs that I have open, but yeah, I probably on average run I start out with about 3 normal ones and then it grows from there. So, but yeah, North Alabama, I'm gonna try to get some more content out on it because I know that Kickstarter it's got basically 1 week left on it, and that's some pretty cool pricing if people are interested. So I will try my best to get some stuff going in the next couple days on it so that people can get a little more information from it. I mean, I'll show it as best as I can, the ins and outs, what I find about it, and so hopefully that can help inform people. But it's pretty cool. I mean, just a little test tonight. I'll burn that logo into the screen, and we'll see. Maybe I think I've got a T-shirt. Well, yeah, I think I have a white T-shirt. I might have a white new T-shirt that I can run some black on this. So maybe after this, if I get time, I'll do that quick, and then maybe post it on my Facebook page and maybe the user group. So, but yeah, Chicago Pop. Yeah, confused if you're more. The worst thing is I like that they've started adding the little sound icon to the tab so that you know which one's playing noise. That used to drive me nuts. Going which one all of a sudden had an ad start up or something, and you're wondering where the audio is coming from. So, but 48 watt longer right now, and the nozzle is fixed. Oh, great to know, we the people. That's good. I had heard they had fixed it, and so that's good to know because that was just one of the few things that I thought could be better about that. And 40, I'd love to see how well that one does. That IKEA 48, that was putting out some pretty good speeds on the cutting. So definitely would love to find out more about how the longer one is because that's. Correct me if I'm wrong, Clack, but I think that's as far as like the standard frame is about the biggest working area you can get without jumping into extended rails that we've seen anyway. So, and in both both directions. Some of them are longer, but there's, I mean, they're extended further, but they're still kind of narrow. So, yeah, for the amount of money, the instructions could be better. Yeah, I agree. So they sent me the Ruby IR module, and I released that video just this past weekend, and it was one sheet folded up in there, and there was zero information on it as far as like, here's some base settings or whatever. It was just slap it on, plug the thing in, and here's your little flip down lever for focus, which is fine. I mean, I'm used to running tests. I tell people to run tests. So, I mean, it's just nice to be able to get somewhere in the ballpark instead of having to, have quite a large spread, especially if you're doing engravings. That can be a while to try to dial it in. So, but anyway, so yeah, this is fun. Hopefully enjoy things like this. I know my channel is very heavily laser based, but I try to, I named it Vintauri's Workshop because I wanted something generic enough to that whatever I was working on out here or in my other shop that I could kind of share it there. I try not to go too far out of left field and stick to things that are kind of relational to this, but yeah. I enjoy all things making, all things kind of crafting, woodworking, constructing, all that stuff. So I want to continue to share these things, and hopefully you all enjoy that as well. So do I think the Genmitsu 6050 should have had 2 Y-ball screws and steppers? I think it would help, but it can also cause some extra problems, and then it also adds to the cost. I think that machine was a balance of trying to get as big but still rigid, but keeping. They were trying to keep that price point down a little bit, and so I think there are just a few areas where they had said, okay, we can go with lead screws instead of ball screws, and maybe we can go with one center one versus the others. I haven't had it really fail too much on me as far as missing steps as I have with a few other machines over time. But as I'm getting ready to throw at least a router on there, if not a spindle, and start putting more weight, heavier bits, that's where we're going to see, it'll push it more. And so I hope to do that here. I'm hoping to get some time off over the winter break to spend a little more time out here and such. But yeah. Live stream looks good. Yeah, thanks, Brian. Yeah, branded hat. Well, I grew up always wearing ball caps as a kid, so it's kind of natural for me in my more casual non-work to still wear them. So it's not always. Plus, I'm one of those people that doesn't like to spend a whole lot of time putting on my makeup and my hair every morning and such. So easier cut and just throw a ball cap on there. It works best for me. So. Jim, the P2, so far I've been enjoying it. I've run a number of tests on there. As a matter of fact, here's one. I think I shared this the other day. The one thing I'm noticing, so you see where it's just kind of like this straight cutoff here. I noticed that on the backside at the stop-start position, I don't know if I can get that to show up. There's just these little, they look like little tabs that's in the same spot on every single one. I kind of feel like it's cutting it off just a fraction of a second too early, and I'd be curious to see if that had that extra little bit, if these wouldn't have fallen out. But this is Baltic birch plywood, 3mm, and it's squeaking out at 40 millimeters a second, which on my eBay 60 watt, I was running in the low 20s. So this is a big jump over that. So I'm kind of a little surprised, and that's why I'm trying to take my time and make sure it's running okay and running well. But very impressed with the cutting quality of it. The camera works fairly well. It's it's like most of them. It's off a little bit, but between the dual cameras, getting things lined up, I've been able to work with that pretty well. So I've been happy with it so far. I want to definitely do more with it and get some more tests out of it. So I'm hoping maybe. I've got this and a few other things too, but I'm kind of trickling out content rather than waiting to do my full review. I'm trying to trickle out content like, here's some testing, here's a project with it to kind of show its use. and then I'll try to do a more comprehensive review on it. But so far I like it. It is a little expensive for CO2, you know, but what I'm seeing out of it, you know, as far as the quality initially, it's pretty impressive. So, and it's fairly compact. It's working well off of Wi-Fi. It's Glowforge-like, but not without the cloud software. So far I've been pretty happy with it. So, but yeah, Brian, you know, I'm running alone without Clack. He's in the comments. I can't lean back on him, let him talk for a while. So we'll definitely be doing our Sunday Night Live, and I'm sure over the holidays he and I will try to spin up more of these as well too. But Clack probably wants you to change your logo to Vintauri. Gets all the cool toys. Yeah. Oh, well, that, you know, they say that less is more. You know, so like on YouTube thumbnails, you're supposed to limit it to just a few words because otherwise it gets cluttered. I think putting that on the logo would be, you know, it'd be the fine print, and maybe that's what I need to do. Vintauri's Workshop, where all the cool toys go. You know, I'll just put that in fine print on the bottom. So, oh, snow in my beard. Now, come on, Clack. I don't have snow in my beard yet. That'll come in a few weeks. So, yeah, you caught that, Brian. Yeah, my last video matched the logo with the plane. So, so the truth is on that airplane is actually from Flex Innovations, and they're a company that was started by some people that I knew and had been in contact with when I was writing for FlyRC magazine. So I was aware of them, and then they hired some more people that I'd worked with in the RC industry. And so when they spun up their set of representatives and their team, they invited me to be part of their team. So for the past, gosh, I think it's been about 6 years, I've been a part of that team. And so when I'm out doing my hobby or going to events, I represent them, and not so much for my, you know, competitive prowess in flying airplanes, but in the fact that I know their product and I can support their product. I can help people get started with it, and I can show them the gear. So, so yeah, I have the hat. I thought it went well with the plane, so I figured I'd tie that together with it. So, but anyway, well, if I keep talking like this, I'm going to lose my voice, and I need to speak the rest of the rest of the week at work. So I think I'm going to wrap this up here. I'm going to get this cleaned up before it dries out. But thanks everyone for stopping by. Like I said, I wanted to show off the xTool screen printing a little bit from my basically. This is my first test on it, and I'll definitely be putting some stuff together here in the next few days. Try to get something out real quickly in case you're interested in that, to get a little more of my viewpoint and how it works. And so if you want to jump in on that Kickstarter, you can. I've got links to that down below, links to Clack down below, link to our community group, my Instagram page. You know, check it all out. Follow things you want to or whatnot. But anyway, I am definitely going to wrap this up here, and we will do this again as I can. It's kind of fun being able to hop on here and maybe do things live. I need to get things a little worked out. I've been reworking my area so I can be a little more static with some of my setup, and that'll make it a little bit easier doing these. So hopefully we'll be able to do more of these in the future, and we'll have fun. But again, thanks everyone for your support. Thanks for stopping by tonight, and I'll see you on the videos. Otherwise, we'll see you on Sunday night. So everyone have a good week.